All right, thank you again for having me. So I was asked to talk in the context of video, but I'll make it very clear that this, on the surface, might be on video, but deep below the surface, like an iceberg where things really matter, this talk is not about video. It's about confidence. It's about certainty. In business, who here would like their customer, instead of them having to call them, wouldn't it be a better world if your customer called you? The next time that a customer says no to you, would it be a better world if they ended up changing their mind and said yes? That's what this talk is about. So I want to, and I had a few things planned, and I'm going to go by the seat of my pants and draw on what I heard that this meeting was going before. So I want to talk about hunger. He said that the Eagles wanted it more, and that at the end of this meeting, before I stepped in here, that in business we want it, or we need to have it more. Now, we all need to feed our families. We all need to close the deal to help the customer, right, to solve their problem. We all need this stuff, but why don't people do it? Because there's two kinds of people. Gazelles are hungry, and so are lions. A gazelle's hungry, it's eating in the grass. When it sees a lion, it runs. When a lion's hungry, if it sees a gazelle hurt, it won't chase it down and eat it. Because a lion is so prepared based on its biology, it goes after something that it has to hunt and kill. So video, in the context of video has prepared me to be a more confident human being, that when I'm on the phone with a client, they listen. That when I call most clients, because I've planted myself in their vortex, they know who I am. It's the reason I'm here in this building. They knew who I was. So I want to talk about the confidence cycle. Has anyone ever heard of Gary Vaynerchuk? So Gary Vaynerchuk was a 13-year-old kid selling baseball cards when his dad had a liquor store in South Jersey. They had come from Belarus, running from the mob and all the negative things that had happened out in Eastern Europe. It was that cliche immigrant, grassroots, built a business lifestyle. And Gary Vaynerchuk always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And one day, his father forced him out of making money in baseball cards to work in his liquor store in the basement, making like $6 an hour when he was killing it on the weekends. Well, fast forward 10 years after taking no days off, Gary Vaynerchuk got pretty dang good at selling wine because it was a liquor store and he focused on wine. Gary Vaynerchuk also, in 2006, after taking his father's liquor store from virtually $3 million in top line revenue to $60 million in top line revenue in 5 to 7 years through e-commerce, which no one had done from 1996 to 2005, Gary Vaynerchuk got really smart and said, I'm going to put my ass on YouTube. I'm going to start a TV show, Wine Library TV, and I don't care if anyone watches. And what he said to himself was, I'm going to use it to sell, for example, if he was insurance. In his case, I'm going to use it to sell wine. And this is what happened. As soon as that camera went on, and notice we always have a camera with us. As soon as that camera went on, he realized that he couldn't be full of it because someone would see that in the future. So he couldn't just sell what he wanted to sell. He had to tell the truth. Right? He figured, if I just tell the truth, no one can see me at a dinner party in the future and be like, oh, you said that wine was good? No, you're really saying it's crap at this party. So he decided to tell the truth and have this show that he would do every single day, not knowing if it was going to be successful. Because in 2006, at about 30 years old, nobody cared about YouTube. They thought it was going to be a joke. Who was on YouTube in 2006? You're awesome. You too. Within 1 year and a half, no one watched. But he kept doing the videos, doing the videos, doing the videos. Now, coincidentally, well, not really, because he put in the work, he ended up getting on Conan O'Brien. And people started watching the show. And if you Google him right now, he's 1 million YouTube subscribers. And it's not because he's just some guy that likes to talk and he goes on YouTube. It's because he took that knowledge and built a $150 million marketing company that's the biggest on the planet. That's why I know his name. Because if we're in business, we need to know marketing. So on a side note, I'm going to show you how Gary Vaynerchuk inspired me, because that's why I brought him up, to go from being a gazelle in my business to a lion with video. This is the first video that Gary Vaynerchuk ever did on Wine Library TV. And the difference between the first video and the second video, he got 12 years older in the second video. Just keep that in mind.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of Wine Library TV. I'm Gary Vaynerchuk, Director of Operations here at Wine Library and winelibrary.com.
Anyone notice his body language?
Arms folded.
Arms folded. What does that mean?
We're talking about doing the blog.
Nervous. Who here has done a video?
We just realized that.
Who here has done a video in the context of putting themselves out there in their business? Anyone? Last week, we've done them together. Counts. So, 2 people. Okay. So, could you imagine how nerve-wracking that would be? Is anyone going to be honest enough to say that they'd be afraid to do it the first time? Me too. I'm going to show you his video that was 11 years later. Okay? Anyone ever heard the saying that we spend the first 40 years of our life saying we're too young and the last 40 years saying we're too old? I'm going to make sure you never think that again. How do I put it louder?
It's the remote control, TV remote.
Oh, wait. Make sure, because you're going to want it this loud. It's pretty extra. Yeah, put it up, put it up. Good. Okay. All right, you ready?
Hello everybody and welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk. And this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program. Got it that time. D-Rock, the third person to ever film Wine Library TV.
All right, I'm done. Now, forget about business. When you wake up in the morning and you feel more certain about who you are, right? That fulfillment, happiness that we all are chasing. We think that a title or money is going to fill that for us. We just saw it. That inspired me to get on video. Now, why would a young millennial get on video? In 2014, I had started a brick and mortar. It was a gym. And something happened in that gym that changed my life forever. Every day from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, now this gym started with me, a friend, and 3 sleeping bags, and his brother. And within a few months, there was a room a little bit bigger than this of people working for that gym. Most of them working a hell of a lot more than they got paid because they wanted to be there. And every day from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, before we focused on our training, which we're going to get into, it increased our competence, we talked about our values. Just like the Eagles in that locker. And after a few months, I realized that what I was really supposed to be doing in this planet is helping other companies and other people do the same thing. So it took about 3 years to figure out how the heck I was going to do it. It took a lot of sleeping on friends' couches, and it took a lot of reading, and a lot of risk, and a lot of hunger, and a lot of YouTube videos for anyone to even care what the hell I had to say. But it was who I became in the process of doing all that that made me go from someone that was really awkward and not able to be myself, for example, on video or in person to convey my message, to someone that could stand before people that I may not know yet and speak just to you just like I'd speak to, well, I was about to say my mother, but I wouldn't say that, to a friend. So right now, has anyone this year thought about doing some form of video to build their business? Anyone? Can I get any volunteers to give me a reason why you haven't?
Sometimes just like
Okay.
knowledge to doing it.
I always say. Okay.
Yeah, just don't know where to start.
Got it. Actionable steps. We're going to get into that today, okay? Because I don't believe in just getting people excited about something and not explaining exactly how to do it. What's another reason? Any other reason?
Tool.
Okay. Matt, you had your hand up?
Too young.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so for you know, other people have said this. They're like, oh, I'm not credible enough. Like I heard someone say something about a 25-year-old in the Eagles. Who's 25? on the Eagles. When I was sitting on the Eagles. Okay, I don't watch football though. Okay. Just to remind everyone, our Constitution was written by a young millennial, Alexander Hamilton. Just to remind everybody. So next time someone's too young, we have to remind ourselves. The question is, are we competent? Do we know what we're doing? Do we put the time and the energy? For example, in March 2017, I personally had done no videos. So I'm going to show you the first video that I ever did. I'm going to, about 10 seconds before my pride shuts it off. It's pretty awkward.
Hey guys, this is Jay Doran with Culture Matters, and I'm here to share with you a story about the culture of a company called Kind. I don't know if anyone's ever eaten a Kind bar, but in 1994, Daniel Betsky saw a problem. There were two types of bars. Those that were tasty, but not healthy, and those that were healthy, but not tasty. And with this problem,
Now, who thinks I'm getting an Emmy nod for that one? That talk that I was trying to convey on film, I had given dozens and dozens and dozens of times to rooms bigger than this at my company. It's one of my favorite talks. Has anyone even a Kind bar? Yeah, that company story, at another date, I can tell you that story. It's fantastic. But why couldn't I convey it on a camera? Because competence equals confidence. So where does confidence come from? Repetition. For example, side note, you want to call Mr. or Mrs. Jones that might work with you. However, you haven't said your script out loud enough to be able to say it without thinking. So you're stuttering over what you're going to say, and now you're not listening to them. And now you suck, and they're not doing business with you. If you can't say the script without looking at it, you don't deserve the business because you haven't put the time and the energy to be competent enough to be confident. It goes with everything in life. So now, 750 videos later in a year, 750, not all by myself, but with other beautiful people like Matt Hell in the back, we filmed some videos together. I can actually safely do it while driving a car.
The next time I hear someone say that there is such a thing as a motivational speaker, I'm going to crash the car. No, I'm just kidding. Calm down. There are speakers that just so happen to be motivated. See, biology proves that we are meant to learn. If not, why would we have offspring? We are meant to learn so we can teach them not to walk off a cliff. And the byproduct of that is society happens, right? This ecosystem of social give, receive, society happens, and we go into life and school not being motivated because we don't learn. And by not learning, we've got nothing to share or contribute, and then we wonder why we're not fulfilled. See, there's no...
I get excited in the car. I share with you, not to impress you, but to show you, that was me a year ago, trying to convey a message that I was completely passionate about, that I had given that speech to my employees, or at Kind, and not able to do it. And then a year later, having been able to do it. Now, remember I asked in the beginning who would like to have their customers call them? Almost on a daily basis, someone from Facebook or LinkedIn or one of the media platforms reaches out to me to, number one, ask me what the heck I do, or ask me to do something like this, or ask me if they can hire me to coach them, or keep the list going on. And yes, that's what Culture Matters does. We coach CEOs on why their business, how to transcribe those values, and create training programs around them. So that's what Culture Matters does. But all of that's happening because the main marketing approach was, I'm going to put my voice out there and let's see what happens. But what really happened is the reason I'm giving this presentation, because I'm not technically a videographer. It's like I'm going to sell you my video training after this. That's not what we do. We're doing this because we care. It's because who I became in the process of getting on film. And it completely changed my life. Like, I couldn't impact anyone if I wasn't certain on what it was that I was doing and who I am and why I'm doing it, and then able to do it. So it was getting on camera that completely changed my life, and it's the reason that we film with other people. It's the reason that we do that together. So, right now, because insurance, right? Different customers, different consumer attention, The question is, where is their attention? What is one of the main lead platforms that you use to get business? Is it LinkedIn? Is it hot call? I call them hot calls, cold calls. Is it referral? How are you getting your business?
Yeah, multiple methods. Cold calling, referrals from your client base, so pulling leads from your clients.
Okay.
Michael McCabe, asking for his clients. If he's ever willing to release.
What, like your referral partners?
Yeah, he's right next to me. I'm sorry. Networking. Taking it.
Bill, anything else?
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
And you said, what else you said? Networking. Like events, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, calling people that don't know us yet, calling people that have done business with us to ask for referrals, calling our referral partners to ask for business, LinkedIn, and networking. All of these categories, the people that are involved in these categories, if you had videos out there in the world, could they happen to see them? For example, LinkedIn. Who here has a specific active strategy that they're using on LinkedIn to put value out on their LinkedIn so people can see them, see what they're about, get something from them before you ask for the sale? Is anyone giving first on LinkedIn before they ask for the sale? Like posting, videos, anything. Matt, what are you doing?
Posting articles,
Posting articles. Anything else?
writing articles.
Writing articles. Anyone else here doing something like that?
Yeah, sharing articles. I try to have more of a ratio where it's like more information, so you have like maybe 10 posts of information, and then maybe one or two things about Brown and Brown, very sporadic, and then every once in a while, solicit for business. So that way it's not overcrowded.
To reaffirm what you're saying, it's not coming from me, it's coming from, interestingly enough, that first two videos I showed you. Gary Vaynerchuk, who you had not heard of him?
No.
$150 million company. They take the marketing budget for the top 100 companies in the US and they advertise for them. He has a book that's called what you just said. It's called Jab, 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 Right Hook. Give. You can look it up. Give value. Because we're in the information age. There's a supply and demand issue. Meaning there's so much information and everyone's asking for it, or everyone's asking for the attention. Meaning when you give, you have permission to ask later. So that's what that strategy is called. He's coined it as the #1 marketer. Jab, 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 right hook. I bring that up because, for example, LinkedIn. 3 videos a day go out on my LinkedIn. It used to be 1. So when my assistant, that's full-time job, reaching out to high-level CEOs to meet with them, to have relationships in the context of the business we do, if they don't like me, they'll make that obvious by not being friends with me because I'm so in their face. If they accept it, they definitely know what I'm about. So we're 100% doing business with them. Because people do business with people that they believe what they believe. So if we're not giving, I brought those examples up is because in each of these, I couldn't tell you how many times I called someone that I didn't think I knew, and then because we were friends on Facebook, for example, but we had never talked because we're so consistent with giving the value, videos, posts, just not asking, right, just giving, that they're like, oh, Jay, what's up? What? Networking. Who you're free with a consistent networking event, like group, networking group. And what is that?
It's an HR community group.
Understood. Is there a roster of all the people that are in it?
If you're a member, you can get that, yes.
Understood. So for example, let's say there's 300 people in that roster. How many people in here have a Facebook? Half the room? How many people have a Facebook? Most of the room. About half the room. So for example, the 300 people in your networking group, if we took the same ratio, half, if 150 of them had a Facebook, are you friends with them on Facebook?
No, LinkedIn.
You see where I'm going? All of the business that I receive comes from 90% of it, my personal Facebook. Because 5,000 people follow me around on that thing. Now that's only one strategy, so I'm not telling you to reroute your whole strategy of life. But the point is, today, in today's day and age, we can actually get into the vortex of someone's life, and not by telling them how awesome we are and trying to sell them and make every post about what we could do to take from them. We can actually get in their life and add value to their life. Video is just one example of it that can also make us grow as a person. And those are two examples. So now, has anyone ever thought, or let's say for right now, could video maybe, let's say we started doing it, we knew exactly what to say. You think it would work? After hearing me speak, it might do something? But now we're thinking, well, how? What do I do? Has anyone thought like, oh, well, I don't know what to say? Has that ever crossed anyone's mind? I don't know what to say and I don't know where to start. Anybody? Okay, so I'm gonna explain how. Brother, what's your name again?
Tyler.
Tyler. Can you be my volunteer?
Sure.
This is how I gained the confidence to just get on the camera. I had someone actually teach me this, that I invested in that knowledge, and I'm going to give it to you for free right now. He said, Jay, you have all these ideas, all these things you want to talk about, but nothing's going to come out right. So we have to break this down. First, we got to figure out a topic. Now, the topic doesn't necessarily have to be anything about what you do. Because you ever heard the saying, people buy who you are first, right? They have to like you, know you, trust you. So that's usually a big stall. People's like, well, I don't know what to say, and I just don't want to talk about insurance, or there's things I can't say on there online, and I'm worried about, right? Like regulations or something. There's always some reason. So give me a topic, Tyler, right? You're passionate about that has nothing to do with insurance. That's very general. But can happen. Travel. Okay, good. So see, that's very broad. Now, can you break travel down into like two categories?
Sure. Domestic and international.
Okay. Hey, listen, that's how this starts. Simple. Now, let me say something in back. Can you take domestic and break down domestic into two categories?
Sure. Personal and business.
Good job. Now, personal travel. Can you come up with 5 talking points on that? Meaning, think of like why you want to travel, where you would go,
Yeah, absolutely.
who you'd bring,
Yes.
right? Really big, a little bit more specific, a little bit more specific. Let's say we came up with 10 videos on that. Now, if you're talking about those things, could what you do somehow organically come up in the conversation?
Yes.
Yeah. Without you pushing it down people's throats. Now, let's say that wasn't too hard when we did that exercise, was it?
No.
So now, if we came up with 10 talking points under business, and then did the same thing for international, and came up with 10, now we have 40 videos to discuss. Does that make sense? Now let's do a really easy one, because that's a little outside the box. The topic is going to be insurance. Okay. If we were to take insurance and break that down into like 3 pieces, would I be overstretching my bounds, being ignorant about it, or can we do that?
Sure.
Yeah? Oh, see, everyone's getting excited now. Shifting. Woo! Content. All right, give me 3 categories. Just so you know, this is the topic, real general. Travel and insurance. So, what are the 3 categories? To break it. Now, wait, just if we put the 3 categories together, picture like that tripod holding that camera up. The camera is the topic. It's insurance. Without the 3 categories, it won't stand. So these are the general categories that all together combined, you like really understand insurance. Does that make sense? That's what we want to do here. So what's one of them?
Health.
Health?
Insurance.
Okay.
Property casualty. Personal. That's what I was thinking.
You said prop casualty?
Yep. Then personal lines. Can you spell casualty?
I think there's a U in there. So personal, right? Personal property and then health?
Yep.
Isn't it? There's commercial too, right? There could be more. Got it. So now we got 3. Let's start with health. Can we break health if we, just like the tripod, how many legs would it need? 2, 3, to break it down, real general. Can we break it down in 2?
Yep.
2 parts of health?
Yep.
What are they?
Fully insured, self-funded.
Fully and self, correct?
Yep.
All right, now this is the trick. How many talking points? When I say a talking point, think of like a 2 to 4 minute video. A tip, a story, and an example. That's it. Real simple. To make that point, right? That talking point. A tip, a story, an example. So 1 tip on fully, what does this mean? Fully what?
Fully insured.
Fully insured. How many little points? Can you do at least 10? Yeah? 10 points on that, fully insured? What about 15? If we really stretched it. Let's try. Give me 1. Like a talking point, like 1 point. Fully insured.
Or just limitations of being fully insured.
So limitations. What else? What's another tip?
Age banding.
Huh?
Age banding.
Age?
Age banding. It's like, what the hell are we talking
Okay,
about?
it's all good. Give me another tip. Another one.
Small group versus large group.
Small. Okay. Give me another one.
Taxes.
Okay. Now remember, these videos can be simple because the marketplace is simple. Right? If they knew what we know, or if they knew what we knew, they'd be us. So short, sweet, and simple. I'm sorry.
Advantages to being fully insured.
Advantages. What else?
Disadvantages.
So that's amazing. Now you're thinking. The more content, the more volume. The more volume, the more attention. The more attention, the more business. The more business, the more success. Correct? Because you're not getting paid unless you help someone solve their problem. We're not hurting people here. We're actually hurting people by not taking advantage. For the first time in history, anyone can use this to be a jerk or amazing. Have you ever seen someone on your newsfeed putting out crap? Has that upset you? What's worse, them putting out crap or us not putting out really good stuff? Who's worse, the guy that kills the people in another country or the people that just watch? Yeah, we could be here all day arguing that. You understand my point? This simple exercise, we could probably be here all day creating content. Now, if we break down this video into 3 parts, this limiting, I just write ridiculous. Let's know the advantages of fully insured. The tip is the advantage. Do you have an example of that you could use to help someone understand it? Yes?
Yes.
I claim it.
Somebody had a transplant. You paid $5,000 and insurance could be $8 million.
Transplant. Do you have, is there some kind of analogy to help someone understand it that we've used with customers?
Yeah, you just said it. You just said they paid $5,000 versus
Got it.
millions that they would have paid if they were fully.
So let's take that. Could we put that into a story form with like Miss Jones and Mr. Jones? And okay,
We lived it.
that is your video. You say, this is the advantages of blank, and you tell the story.
We're not
When we
talking
take
about
whatever-
that.
whatever talking point that we want to convey, whatever logical understanding we want to convey, we use a story to convey it. Has anyone ever heard of Start With Why by Simon Sinek?
I just read that book last week.
I love you. What's your name?
Kim.
Kim. What did you think about the book?
It was very interesting. He did a lot of repeating in the book, and there's a reason for that,
What's the reason for that?
so that you remember.
Repetition.
Repetition, yeah.
Mother of skill. Confidence cycle, they call it in education. Now, remember the premise of that book, Start With Why? Do you remember the part where we talked about storytelling and all of that?
Oh, he did a lot of storytelling in that
He
book.
did a lot of storytelling. And did that help you retain the information?
Absolutely, yeah.
1,000,000%, the premise of that book is people buy why you do what you do, not what you do and how you do it. People buy why you do what you do, not what you do and how you do it. Fundamentally, in education, they call it pedagogy is how you teach, curriculum is what you're teaching. If I had not used the stories and examples and analogies and metaphors and videos to make my point today, it would not sink in, and that is not your fault. It would be my fault as an orator, as a leader, as an influencer. When you take that approach, whatever the talking points that you're going to use to convey your message to your audience, we're going to think of what stories, examples, analogies that we can use to make that point. We're going to keep that video 2 to 4 minutes long. Does that make sense? Now, why would you want to do this? Shoot. Let's say you're LinkedIn. You got your LinkedIn. Who here has like at least 5,000 followers on LinkedIn? Few of us.
I'm like 1,400.
So we got another conversation to have. Okay. When out of those 3,000 people, all it takes is a couple of those people to see a video from you every week. And when they see you, they can get to know you. And now they can make a decision whether they like you or not before you ever talk. So I view it as, oh, you've saved me time. Right? If they've unfriended me, they've saved both of us time. Because who I am online is exactly who I am in person, is it not?
Yes.
Because the first rule of anything online is be who you want to be, perceived to be authentic. Be yourself, basically. So just to recap, when we're doing content, think of a topic that's very general. You know, this is what you really want to take note of. Then you want to break down that topic into more specific categories, just a little bit more specific. And then you want to take those categories and come up with basically as many videos as possible. I usually like to say at least 10 to 20 videos for each category. Call them subcategories. And where would you post them and when? Where you would post them is where you're focusing on building your attention. Right? That's a separate marketing conversation. But where you would post them is what you're using to connect with people. Maybe it's your Facebook, maybe it's your LinkedIn, wherever it is. You're going to post them there, and you're going to post them at a time that you see fit that works for your schedule. And really, without overthinking it and going into all the hacks, you just got to be consistent. It was myself posting a video every single day since last year. Every single day went out on Facebook and LinkedIn. Every single day. That attention is worth something. Right? Got attention first. Think of BizDev as that tripod again. There's 3 legs. Marketing is, where's the attention? Right? Where is it? Is it at the networking group? Is it on LinkedIn? Is it on Facebook? Is it on Instagram? Where's the attention? Sales is, what story am I telling? So they actually want to do business with me. And the brand comes later. It's their belief in me to solve their problem. Video is just one outlet of this. When we put ourselves out there with our story consistently enough, business will come to us. And my whole premise behind that is, forget about all the business and all of the stuff and all the opportunity. It's who you can become in the process. Right? You saw Gary. He was 30 years old, insecure guy. I'm going to go in because I know more about the guy. Shy guy, laconic guy. A year and a half later, more outgoing. 42 years old. This isn't even the same person. And I can only speak for myself. Very awkward. And now I feel confident. I'll show you one more video. So, then we're done. I think it's up here. Is this the falsity button? Yeah. Any questions?
I do have a question. So there's a lot of videos out there, and what do you do to, like if you have all these people on LinkedIn, and like I go out to LinkedIn, I don't have time to sit there all day and just scroll through. So how do you get people to pay attention to your video with all the other things they can look at?
A simple answer to that is not focusing on who's watching as much as you being consistent enough with it for that to matter, right? There's 2 C's in marketing now, because most people are just scrolling. They're consuming information. The people that have the success are creating. They're creating the value. They're creating. So we don't want to be a consumer. We want to be a creator. If you focus on creating, you're going to get attention. When you start getting the attention, for example, let's see people start commenting on your video. If someone's commenting on my video, that's my next customer. That's what you have to look at. You've got their attention. Whether it's good or bad, you've got something to work with. I can't tell you how many people were saying negative things on a video I had. But I treated them just like I would treat them with a cold call. Hey, you know what? I see where you're coming from. A million people are on the internet talking all sorts of stuff, and I get that. However, I appreciate that you'd even take the time to comment. I'm going to reflect on that. I can't tell you how many times I've said that. Because it's the truth. That's their point of view. I'm not upset with them. And then they end up doing business with me. Just like a phone call you make to someone that tells you to screw off, and then they're saying thanks for not letting up. How many times does that happen? Where you just follow it up? That's the power of social media, really the internet, that we're not utilizing. So my best advice to you is to just be really consistent and play the long game with it, and keep radio. Who's commenting? And those are the people you send a message to, and you thank them, and you send them some value. Example: a guy the other day commented on one of our videos. I sent him a couple of tips in a private message, and he's like, "Thank you," and that led to some now a meeting. So think of what you can give. Right? You're doing it now. You were asking something, Matt?
No, I was just going to add just to that. I mean, the good thing about video too is the data that you can collect.
The data, yeah. Like all the people that messaged on our Facebook Live this morning, that commented on it. We know, like, all right, those people are watching us. What's the next step? Right, we're going to add value to them. We're going to ask questions, because that's what salespeople do. If they have a serious problem with any of the things that we coach on, we're only going to find that out by asking the questions. If they answer the right answers, we're going to do business with them. So that would be your actionable step. Post, be consistent, and then keep an eye out on who comments. Right? But don't go and scroll everybody's thing, because then you're the consumer. The reason I'm showing you this video is to make a point. In September 22nd, I was driving in an ATV for the first time, like a side-by-side, one of those big 1,000-pound ones, with a buddy of mine. And he was driving pretty recklessly, like he didn't have 5 kids, and flipped it over. And I had Facebook Live on while in the vehicle, and we had just hit a bump, and the phone flew out. So I was like, all right, let me get back in this thing, put the phone in the little glove compartment, seatbelt on, helmet on. Like, I've never been in one of these things. I don't do exciting stuff like that. Within 20 minutes, we had flipped over, and like, that's only 1/7 of like the scar that I have down my arm. It flipped over and it landed on my arm and shattered my wrist and my humerus, and I had metal throughout my arm, and I had nerve damage, and there's no way, the doctor's saying, there's no way you'll ever have your hand back. It's 4 months later, I can do all this stuff. It was insane. In the car ride there, which was 40 minutes from the hospital, the first thing I did was say, I gotta put it on video, because it's gonna come back and help somebody someday. But I would have never done that in this moment, maybe never would have been here to help inspire someone that's been through like injury, if I didn't condition myself for a year to do videos. So like think about that. For years now, maybe I can inspire somebody that's in an accident when I do like this little Facebook ad with this video or something. Because I was prepared. So this was right after my arm was
Tommy, I broke my arm. Culture matters. Bill Mervin. Jay,
I lost a lot of weight too.
Well, if it wasn't for my intrinsic culture, my character, deep breathing, I'd probably be freaking out right now. So I'm in a lot of pain. Like Ray Lewis said, it takes effort.
I was just watching like a motivator.
Really though, I broke my arm like 2 places. It's really fun. Don't be a dummy. I broke my arm.
Yeah, so
Culture matters.
you get the point. If it wasn't for all that video that I put out there, I wouldn't have been like prepared for that moment. And now that moment might help a lot of people. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope you took notes on that. And thanks. 26.
I mean, this was we
I
used
take no offense to the comment.
in 2022. You promised to bring us all on your corporate jet wherever you're headed. Because I'm telling you, it's like
Appreciate
it's
that.
unbelievable. At 26, I didn't have that maturity. Couldn't do what you guys are doing. I mean, it's really cool.
Helicopter, by the way.
Yeah, helicopter. Yeah, actually, the like Michael Rubens of right over there. We see it every day. Again, thank you, Jay. We appreciate it. Look, at the end of the day, part of why I wanted him to come in here was for me. I personally have been talking videos for years and years and years and years.